Hi, I'm Analytical, the sickeningly entertaining and educational coding queen. And thank you for coming to my live stream. We're going to be doing some coding today. Let's make sure we're all in here. I know, there's been a bit of a delay. Whoever said a drag show is supposed to start on time? I'm glad we've got a bunch of you in the chat. I gotta keep this window open just for a moment. And I will let everybody know that we are live now. Say hi in the chat if you're here. Hello, hello. Let me know. Let me brush out a little bit. Yeah, it's been what a week. It's Thursday. We did our live stream last time on Wednesday, but any day is a good day for being live. I just want to check that everything is looking gorgeous. Am I lit well? I can move this light a little bit. I'll be right back. I'm gonna pop that window open. We're back. All right, I'm tweeting her out. I'm tweeting it out. Web Dev Learning Party tonight. Hello, we are live in here. Let's send a few hearts. And we'll probably have to do an intro again, but don't worry about that. Let me get the link. Hello, JavaScript Joel. Welcome to the live stream. We're just getting started. We are live now. I'm just gonna do we're live now in a heart. Perfect. Keeping it simple. Oh, hey, Amitai, welcome back from last week. You were here last week. Great to see you again. It's been cold, snowing on and off. Ugh, what a pain. We don't have really any snow in New York, but it's been a little bit rainy, a little bit not as nice. I've still been trying to go out for my walks every day and to be active and physical. I did a little bit of fitness today. What did I do? I did some curls. I was like, I am not gonna do a whole fitness routine and then do a stream. That's like, that ain't gonna work for me. So we've got a ton to go over today, which is great. So much fun stuff. FreeCodeCamp, that's all pulled up. So yeah, just say hey in the chat so we can kind of get ready, chat a little bit. Yeah, I'm getting so much better at live streaming. There's kind of like so many different parts to all of this. Obviously, gotta do the mug, gotta do all my lighting, all my computer, clean up the apartment. Is anyone else struggling to keep their apartment or their home clean? So I definitely am, and it's they don't call it chores they call it not chores. And we've got a lot of water, so we stay hydrated. All right, I'm gonna dive in. Let me just see who's here. Okay, we got Amitai, JavaScript Joel, and an Agua Te Programa. I guess that's we've got the avocado. Perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna start my intro just so I can cut out all this chitter-chatter, all this nonsense. It's like I'm filming my videos, but like I'm so happy I don't have to do editing because it's just I can do a little bit of cut, and then if it's a live stream, it's so much more casual. Okay. Hi, I'm Analytical, the sickeningly entertaining and educational coding queen. And today, do I have lessons for you? We've been in these live stream series, we've been doing HTML to get started. Then we did JavaScript, we did 2.5 hours of JavaScript last week. Go check that out. We go through all the FreeCodeCamp JavaScript. We do like 89% of it, a B+ level. But we're going to finish that up today. We're going to do a little bit of a review on all of that. We're going to jump into CSS. Just a quick overview, because I think the other things that might be a little more interesting. And then we're going to look at how we can combine JavaScript and HTML and CSS using jQuery. Basically just another type of JavaScript, or just another part of JavaScript. And we'll combine it all together, all on FreeCodeCamp, just still following this curriculum. I think there's a ton of content on there. I'm not sure if it's all my favorite, but that's why you have me here, because I can turn it into something more tailored for a smart audience like you all. I can turn it into something that's going to be relevant to when you're learning to code, or when you want to build your websites or build your applications. I'll tell you where the real stuff's going to come in. I'll give you all the tips and the tricks and all those little secrets. Okay, so we're going to transition to my screen. And let's see. So we'll go to the chat view and transition. And great, we've got the screen up on here. So we're just back at FreeCodeCamp. Kind of classic. We know what this is all about. Let me just make sure that was good. So there was so much JavaScript we did last week. That was really, we really went a little wild, but that's why we're going to review it again. It's like when you're learning to code, or when you're learning a new programming language, you can't just take it all in one go, because that's just not good. It's like you're going to get overwhelmed. There's so much to learn, and you just have to digest it over time. It's not a one-time, bam, you know how to code. It's like people study to code for years, and you don't have to study for years, but you can study over time, and you'll slowly start to learn the basics, and over time you'll use them again and again. Let me see what I want to be hiding. I just want to optimize my viewport performance mode. Perfect. Okay, worked. And let me know if you have any issues with the mic or the screen or me. Don't have issues with me, or I'll boot you. So let's go back to JavaScript. This algorithms and data structure certification, we did 97 out of that 110. So now ended up being like a B+. And oh my God, there were so many challenges here. But I think I left off with profile lookup as a good one for you to go home, and it combined a lot of the things we learned. And let's just go into that and see like how much we remember. See like if you went on and did it on your own, if you struggled at all. I know Abby, who was here last week, I don't know if she's here yet. She went and tried some of this, so that was great to see. And she was asking me a few questions, or they were asking a few questions. I don't know the pronouns. So yeah. So basic profile lookup, or just even cover we did last time. We did if statements. We set up variables. So here they've got this variable, which is an array, because we've got the square brackets. It's an object, an array of objects, because it's got those curly braces. And then there were functions that we would call, and for loops that we knew how to use, and if statements. So this is really just a combination of all the code we were looking at last week. And this is very common. You're going to see combinations of all sorts of different like pieces of the puzzle when you're coding. It's like you're not just going to have only if statements. You're not going to have only like function. It's going to be a total combination of all these things. So when you can learn how to like identify the pieces, it's like already maybe at the start of last week or a few weeks ago, this would have looked really scary to you, but you can break it down. Like even just quickly, you can look and see, oh, okay, I know all this stuff. There's just functions, for loops, if statements, nothing like super fancy, just the good stuff. So what do they want us to do here? So they have an array. They have an array of objects representing different people in our context list. So that's what this was. So the array of objects, like I said, Each is just a JavaScript object. There is first name as a key. There's Akira as one of these. We've got Akira Lane, who likes pizza, coding. I like pizza and coding. So is this me? Did they find me? They've got Harry Potter. Oh my god. He likes Hogwarts, magic, and Hagrid. I mean, that's like a little on the nose. It's like, does he like Hagrid as much as he likes magic? Is there something I did not know about their relationship? Okay, Sherlock Holmes. He likes intriguing. It's like, where's Watson in his likes, mama? Sherlock Holmes and Watson. It's like, I guess the author of this tutorial is more of a Harry Potter Hagrid stanner. So then we've got a function that looks up profiles. And did we do this one already? Even so, it's good for us to look at this. I'm just gonna run the test to see. Oh, we did this one. Okay, so that's why all the code is already here. But this is still great for us to review. So the function should check if name. Okay, so the function takes a name and a property, and those have been written for us. Now we need to check if this name is an actual context first name. So we did a for loop to look through all the contacts. Then we said, so this is how we access each individual contact. And if they have a first name, we get that first name, because I think we can assume they all had a first name. If that equals the name that we were requesting, then we'll continue. Otherwise, we're going to give them no such contact. If it has an own property prop, so basically we're checking, like, do they have a thing that they like? Do they have a list of likes? Do they have, because maybe some of these don't have certain things. So these all have number, likes, and foxes, so that's not that helpful. But it's like, it would be good if like one of them didn't have likes, and then we couldn't return anything. So then we check for the if own property, we'd return that, and then, oh, Amitai, sure. I will come to, Amitai is asking in the chat, can we remind us what triple equals means versus double equals? So once we're done with this example, I'm actually going to pull up a great website that you can get a better understanding of that. So yeah, we check if there's a if first name, if that has that property, likes or whatever, then we get the context and then we get that property. And again, we're using square brackets because it's a variable here. So we can't do something like return contacts.i, because it's going to look to see if there's like an object that has this as the key versus checking like whatever our I variable is, which is going to be like a number like 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever, or just 1, 2, 3, or 4. Because really this is kind of the same as saying like I. Okay, wait, let me draw that out. So this line on 36 is the same as if we did contacts I like this, and that would not be what we would want to do. All right, so let me find this website. JavaScript equals compare this in. Oh, hey Nicole, welcome to the chat. So you're saying equals a strict equals meaning the number 3, and so we have the number 3 and the string 3. Let me just put that in here. So we have 3 and the number 3, or like in quotes as like some string. These are going to be the same, or these won't be the same, because one's like text and one's like something you can add to. But if we just do 1 equals, then we won't get that. And there's this great website. Where can I find it? Comparison operators. Is it this? There's like a chart. I'm just Googling it. I'll put this in the tab just so you can see. So I'm constantly kind of just Googling to see. Okay, so this is going to just make it all make sense. Let me pop out the chat just so I can see it a little more easily. Oh great, no, I've lost it. Okay, so you can all see this. So if you have equals, you can see all these comparisons that are going to be true. So true. So down the diagonal, it's obviously going to be true for equals equals because it's checking if the same exact thing is the same as itself. So like -1 is going to equal -1. But here, what might be interesting is like 0 equals false when we use equals equals. So we go to equals 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 equals, and then only these diagonals are going to be true. So it kind of gives you more like customization. So if you're doing something like a for loop or like a while loop, and you have maybe something you're checking and it's like when you get to -1, you can kind of treat that like it's false. Or if you get to like 0, you can treat that like it's false versus having to like convert like the number 0 to being false. Also you can see in if statements. This is exactly what I was saying. So if you do like if value, so if you did if 1, then the number 1, that will give you a true result, and that will go through that if statement. And thank you, Nicole, and thank you, XXX Stan Up, for helping out in the chat. Okay, so we're gonna run these tests. I guess we did this one last time. Next challenge. Let's just do maybe another few of these just so we can like get our JavaScript brains working a little bit. It's like always good to review this stuff. And this is, I mean, this isn't even real. This is new. New. Just like my promote homosexuality shirt. This is a new shirt. I got it from my friend, Willie. And it's like, what a gag. Like a sickening shirt. Ooh. Sickening shirt for a sickening person. I mean, can you see? I'm a mess. Ignore me. Block me. Okay. So now we're generating random fractions with JavaScript. Again, FreeCodeCamp really just doesn't do the most fun examples. So it's like when I was doing Beyond Binary, I mean, you can look at that later. I did a bunch of like fun random numbers that you can use, and I have like a bunch of examples with that. So like, go check that out if you'd like. But we're just gonna work through the example they gave. Blah. I need to like write to these people and be like, can we up the ante, or let me know what you think. Like, are you into these examples? Do you feel like they're clear enough? Have you tried any other like learning to code resources, and if those might be better? Because like we can work through a bunch of this stuff, or we can go to another website and try that stuff out too. And even if it's the same material, just comparing it and seeing, oh, like this is another way to think about if statements, or another example of if statements, you know? Don't you know? Okay, so there's this math.random function. So we want to get random numbers, and it gives us a number. It's like a decimal number, so it's between 0 and 1. So it could be 0.5, 0.75, 0.111111212. Just a decimal number. And it can return 0, but it can't return 1. So what's it wants to do? It wants to just return a random number instead of returning 0. So math.random. So something that like they aren't showing you here is like, yes, we know how to call this function, but like, what is math? Like, where is that coming from? So there are just a bunch of objects in JavaScript. So like math is one of them. And somewhere up deep in where JavaScript code is written, someone wrote var math equals, and it's some kind of object, and there's a random, there's a property called random, and this is a function. And this does whatever to generate a random number. So that's really what's happening here. And you're going to see this over and over again. And it takes, I think, understanding what's happening here when you're calling functions like this or using APIs, like it makes it make a lot more sense if you think everything is just one big object that you're calling. So let's say you didn't know what random was. Maybe you could look up what is this math object and find that random function on it. I think that's all I wanted us to do. An easy one, that was good. Now generate random whole numbers with JavaScript. This, another really useful thing. It's like, I feel like I do this all the time in so many projects. So it's like, you just need a random number, and a decimal doesn't really cut it. So we'll generate that random decimal, and then if we multiply it by 20, Well, I guess there are a few ways to generate the random number. So we multiply it by 20. Nicole in the chat used it today. Icon legend, Nicole White. Nicole, you're new to the chat, so I definitely want to know like what your background is, how you got interested in code or interested in watching this stream, and we can chit chat about that a little bit as the stream goes on. So if you think about it, and like again, this is a little bit math brain, but like it's something you can always look up. It's like, how did you generate a number between 0 and 20 in JavaScript? Well, you have basically we just use to expand the range. So we're only getting numbers from 0 to 1. So to make our maximum 20, we need to multiply that by 20. And then there's this other function called floor, which basically if you have any kind of decimal number, 1.25, 1.4, I don't know, whatever, it just cuts off the decimal and we'll bring it to make it equal to 1. It'll make that equal to 1. So that's useful for the rest of this part. So what does it want us to do? They want us to get a random number between 0 and 9. So we'll multiply this by 9, and then we're going to wrap all of this into a math.floor. Oh, I'm crushing it. What do they want us to do? Okay, so they're saying that we need to multiply this by 10. So this is kind of like the math part of it. I guess I wasn't really reading their instructions. So yeah, because math.random will never actually return 1, we need to kind of do a +1. Again, this is like one of those things where it's just like, that's so annoying, isn't it? And like there are going to be a lot of little things in code like this that you're going to be like, ugh, that's really annoying. And that's really what makes you a good programmer. If you can kind of just like deal with a lot of these annoyances. Like if you just remember to do that, remembering the for loop. All these things are like little memorizations, and you can always look it up. No one's gonna come for you. This is just kind of like frustrating. Okay, next challenge. I love this like support pop-up, but Mom, I'm streaming. It's like, don't come in, I'm streaming. Okay, cool. Amitai is a fan of the theory, so maybe when we get into these advanced data structures on here, Amitai will be a fan. Okay, so Nicole is currently in Lambda School, which is a coding boot camp. Basically, there are different kinds of coding boot camps, but you can spend 3 months kind of like hunkering down, studying a ton of code, just diving in deep, and then come out with like an amazing tech job. And that can be really good if like, let's say you've got, right now a lot of us have time. Some of them are pretty expensive, but they kind of guarantee you a job. And some of them will also even be free, but they'll take a portion of your first year's salary. So that can be really good. Like, let's say you're not in the best financial situation. You can use that to like jump ahead in your career by saying, okay, I can find a coding boot camp that will put me ahead in my career, and then they'll just take part of those earnings. But like watching videos like this, even if you're in a school like that, like you just want to, like if you're going to take the time to really do a boot camp, you want to be really focused and really dedicated, because you want to walk away having that tech job. So we've got a few other people in Lambda School. Awesome. And thank you, Teresa, for the hair, for saying you love the hair. I almost wore a different wig, but then I was like, I'm very purple makeup today, so we went with this. Okay, so now they want random numbers within a range. So I think this will be just like our last one for now. I guess we'll see what they are, because I want to go on to CSS, because I think I have a bunch of fun CSS stuff in the works for my channel, and if we can start talking about that, maybe I'll learn something that I can use. So instead of generating between 0 and a given number, let's say I want to generate between like 7 and 10, you can do like a min and a max. And now they're like giving us formulas. I don't want a formula. It's like, they make this so confusing. It's like, okay, so if we're generating a number between 0 and 10, like what's a way to make sure our minimum is going to be bigger than 0. We basically just add that minimum. So what does it want? So the min, so my min plus, and then let's do math.floor. So we love the purple chat background, purple. So we're doing math floor and math.random because we know we want like our random integer. So this gives us an integer. This will actually just give us 0. So now we do times my max plus 1. What is it? What is all the stuff they used? Oh my god. So max minus min plus 1. What? I like swear to god I'm gonna get fired for how bad of like an engineer I am in some of these streams. It's like, when are they doing this? So basically we want to do, if our max is 10 and our min is 7, so that would be 3. Oh, I guess because of the min we don't want to like go over that. Sure, we're just gonna copy this in. There are like a ton of like helper functions you can use. Like when we go to jQuery in a little bit, I'm sure there's like a max or a random range function you can use. And now you don't have to like think about all these kind of like math formulas. Because if I was to look at someone's code for this and they were generating a random range, I would just wouldn't really think this is that great. I think this is just confusing to look at, actually. So we want to do some interview and coding questions because some of them are tough. I definitely agree. I'm just like so out of practice on them, but that could be good. It could be good for us to work through them together. It could be like a way to get more of like an advanced audience here. I definitely like, it's fun. It's like definitely easy for me to kind of sit here and work through some of the more easy problems because I have like a lot to say about them and stuff. Whereas like, I'm not someone who's doing algorithms every day. I'm not someone who's doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Amity's saying it right. There's probably a function in the library so you don't have to like reinvent the wheel always. Wait, so what are these ones? They're saying there's a parse int function. This is a good one. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to pull it up. So basically, let's say you're taking some kind of input or you've got this string. You'll need to do parse int on it to actually like, so right now, let's see. We do console.log 56. We'll put it out there. So we do 56 plus 1. It's going to be 561. But if we do something like parse int, it's kind of another one of those like JavaScript functions, and then it can actually add it. So I think I took a lot of this from when I did Beyond Binary. I mean, like, I'm just going to keep pushing that. I definitely want to revisit those like computer science problems. What am I looking at? CodePen. It's all on CodePen. You can see I do like parse int. I have like a parse float function I even wrote. Profile. Where can I see all my pens? Let's see. View all pens. Sometimes this page breaks when I'm viewing it. I have some of these little previews of projects that are coming up. So spoiler alert. Yeah, it's like if you are taking, let's see, maybe this. Can this do anything? No. Okay, so basically, let's say you do like a pop-up and ask someone something, or you have an input form like we saw in HTML, that's going to come back as like a string. But let's say you were asking for a number, so like what's in the ranking, you can't give a number, so you have to parse int on that. I go way more into detail on this, so like go watch that if you really want, if you want the tea on it. Riza, yes. You know, I have a cracking the coding interview, so I can definitely like pull through some of that and see what's up. I know FreeCodeCamp has a ton of interview questions, so like even if we were to work through, let me go back to the top. I think we're done with the basic JavaScript for the day. It was like a good review. we could look at the algorithm scripting. There's basic data structures, object-oriented programming. This stuff actually all does come up in interviews. This could be kind of like your first round interview. I see a lot, or like when I was interviewing to code, they might be like, create a data structure that does this kind of thing, or like what kind of data structures could do this. So we could like go into that. I think FreeCodeCamp is just like can be a little limiting in the way we're structuring it, but like it's helpful that people can go and work through this at home. You have a professor that says the answer to everything is hashing, and you know, sometimes it is. Sometimes it really is. In my day job, I work with a lot of like really big data systems. So like the problems there are very different than ones that like might come up in an interview for like a very general interview. Okay. I'm going to move into, where am I going? I want to move into the CSS lesson, but actually because Amitai was asking what is hashing, so I will just give like a little brief overview. If I can do that. Inspect element. Oh, my browser is a little slow today. Basically, so you know how when we make our JavaScript objects, we can say like ABC, 1, 2, 3. So this is our JavaScript object. Basically, it's a way you can take ABC and is there even a hash function here? Hash. Hash. I don't know. Basically, you do some like manipulation on ABC. Maybe you like reverse it or store it with like all this. I don't know. You kind of like do some math algorithm on that, so you get some kind of result. So maybe the result of ABC becomes like 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. It becomes this kind of thing, and then that becomes then you have a dictionary that instead of is ABC, you have like. This thing points to 1, 2, 3. And it's like that can make looking up things faster. It's kind of hard to represent in JavaScript because JavaScript is so like high level and there's so much of this stuff that's built in a way that isn't gonna like make it useful to use that stuff. My browser is a little chugging along here. I have to refresh. So Teresa's saying it's kind of like a translation. ABC is going to go through our hash function and it'll always come out as the same string. So like, I don't know, when do like people really use this? Basically different data structures, like an array, it's like that's really easy to find like certain like any kind of element in there, but maybe it's slower to like look up the value of one that has like a certain key or something. I like can't explain this well right now. Also like my browser is fully crashed, so that's a joy. It's just a little slow today. I want to see what's happening. And we're in performance mode, so I don't know what's up. I have too many windows open. Excuse me for my unprofessionalism. Okay, everything just kind of like zoomed in. We're good. I think I was on my stream website and that was causing issues. Maybe I'll remember to cut that out, but I probably won't. Okay. I wonder if they have it in here, because that could be interesting, just if I can like chat about it with like a real example. Data. No, they don't really have it in here. I can see, I can Google it. Hashing in JavaScript. You know, if you don't know, the best way is to Google it. Who's this? I don't know who that is. You can create a hash from a string in JavaScript. I'm like, why don't we go Stack Overflow to see what's up there? I'm glad we have so many amazing, smart people in the chat to help me out and to answer questions in the chat. So if you're watching this after the fact, or you've one of your friends who watches this and sent it to you, Please come to the chat next time. Ask questions. Send me questions over Twitter. If I don't know, I'm happy to investigate and get you a clear answer. Yeah, I mean, hashing in Java, it's kind of hard. It's not an easy concept to explain in JavaScript because it's the same as how we know objects or JavaScript object notation, JSON. And speaking of JSON, we're going into CSS. And if you remember those JavaScript objects, you'll be so familiar with all of this. I'm going to just open this here. You'll be so familiar with this. Because CSS is all about making your web pages glamorous and pretty and have nice styles. There's colors, fonts, positioning, spacing, sizing, decorations, transitions, so much amazing stuff, and it's all kind of written in JSON. And let's just resolve these conversations. So okay, so the chat is all good. So you apply CSS to HTML. So we did HTML 2 weeks ago. So here's a little refresher. We've got header 2. This is the same one we were working on last time, that cat photo app. And there's a link. There's the image. There we have some divs, some paragraphs, all these lists, this form. All that stuff. I never understood if this form is supposed to do something. I don't think it does. That's confusing. That's definitely confusing. So don't love that confusing form, but we'll get over it in due time. So CSS, and where does it want us to put our CSS? This is going to let us style this stuff. Oh my god, we're putting it inline. I guess this is a start. So normally you would have a separate file for your CSS as a way to organize, as a way to just like organize things. But here we're just going to put it in line to get started. So on our heading 2, we have a style attribute. So we can just put that inside of those. Greater than, less than, style equals, and we want to set the color to red. So you'll kind of see we've got a kind of a key, which is color, then blue is the value, and there's a colon between them. So this is just like kind of our JSON. So blue, or what is it? Maybe color blue. That's kind of what we're doing here. And they use semicolons to separate each thing versus commas. So maybe there's like background would be red. So it looks very similar to JavaScript, which is great since we just covered all that JSON and JavaScript object material. So we're just set color to red as it asked. We shall give it to that. Oh, and I guess we need a semicolon. It's still working without the semicolon, but for correct looking stuff, I guess we want to have the semicolon. If we wanted to add like that background color, then that just makes it better. What is it? I guess we could only have one if we didn't have the semicolon. One style if we didn't have the semicolon. Oh my god, can I speak tonight? So there are hundreds of CSS properties. Great. That is like so intimidating. You can like look so much of them up. Amitai said they used custom CSS at work this week to put an orange border around a paragraph on a website at work. And they update the content via WordPress. So WordPress is a great way to like start playing around with HTML, because you can like start customizing little bits of it, and then if you really get fancy, you can learn how to use JavaScript with it, build your own plugins, you can learn PHP. WordPress is a great way. That's actually how I started learning a lot of code, through WordPress, and started learning how to do kind of more production style code. So when we entered this, we were styling that with inline CSS, which CSS is cascaded. I'm not even going to say it because you don't need to really know what it is. No one's going to ask. There's no trivia about CSS and what it stands for. This is an inline style. And as I was saying, this is bad because it's just like hard to edit. It's hard to manage. It's in the way. So we can do what they're suggesting as a style block. So we do style like this, kind of make our own tag. And you can obviously do this in your own file. I'm sure they'll get to that at one point. And how do we do this? So if we want to style all H2 elements to be red, we say H2 here, and then we have our kind of JSON style object. So define it. So H2 is the element type, and then we want to turn all the H2 elements blue. I think we only have one, so it's not that wild. Oh, we've got Evan Ross Cats in the chat. We've got he thinks it is a very cute cat. Hello, hello. Yeah, WordPress is great because it's just drag and drop, but like you really can go crazy customizing it. I worked on my college's student newspaper, and I built a whole suite of custom plugins for them where you can drag and drop. You could set up the homepage in different ways. And I needed to know all this HTML and all this CSS in order to do any of that. So like making sure you got this down really well, huge win. Huge win. So we can also apply CSS to classes. So we remember classes from last week. Did we use any classes last week? Drag and death drop. Bam! We didn't create any classes last week. Maybe we did. So I want to see what they're saying. So we could do IDs last week. We saw we did ID, and this would be main header. We could only have one ID per page, or one of the same ID, so we could not have another main header. But if we have a class called, I don't know, blue text. Actually, I think they're going to want us to do red text, so I might just set that to red text right away. Red text. We could have multiple. We could put red text on as many elements as we would like. And then to specifically style a class, we use the dot before it. So we say this is the dot for the class. So we create a CSS class. So we want to change all red text to blue and red. Give our H2, okay, so I was on the right track. Now it's red, and we can move on. So we can use the same, so we could use, as I was saying, you could use this class on so many different elements. So we want to put it on the H2. We want to put it on our first paragraph tag, which is this one. We can just copy that in. We can, the other ones are not going to be red, and the first element should have the class red text. So we are great. Oh, we've got a super fan in the chat. Everyone says it is incredible how much fun or how much you're learning. I don't know. It's great. We love a learner. We love a learner. Another CSS property we got is font size. Oh, we want big fonts. It's like, we know we can use H2 to get bigger font. We could even use H1 to get a really big font. But if that is not big enough, then we use the font size. And you'll see this so much more common than relying on like the default sizes. Oh, I'm a little congested. Basically, it's like you use header 2, you use header 1 as an outline for the page, and then you'll use your CSS to determine how big those sizes are going to be, how they're going to look in different contexts, but use the HTML as the structure for the page. Okay, now what does it want us to do? So inside style tag, create an entry for P elements. So we start with P, and then we want all those font sizes to be 16 pixels. And we need to have our element. Did that change anything? I think that's their current size. All right. Then you can also change the font family, and I've done a great video on Google Fonts where you can pull in so many great fonts, different font families, and they have a great way for you to browse it all. You can search by so many different styles of fonts and you could use this to your heart's desire. So this is a great property to know about. So we want to set P to monospace font family, and these are kind of the basic ones built in: monospace, sans serif, serif, monospace. And now it's kind of this ugly font. It looks just like the terminal, but like not even our chic terminal that we set up a few weeks ago. Oh my god, it's like I feel like I could have written this whole web page. It's like import a Google font. I literally just said that. So basically use this link tag on the Google Fonts website. They'll kind of show you how to do it. Let's see if this isn't going to be too slow. Okay, so you click on the link, and then I think you can, I don't want to download it, I would just like to use it. Select the style, so there are totally different styles, and then you click embed. It's kind of like a shopping cart, but it's free, and then you just copy this in and use those CSS rules, and bam, you're good to go. So this is that link we're copying in, and we put this before style. Normally this all is going to go in head, so link is going to go in head, style is going to go in head, which we saw kind of at the end of our HTML lesson last time. We're using a Lobster font. A Lobster is a hilarious font. Obviously a funny font name, but you'll see once it loads, it's just such a silly one. Use the Lobster font or CSS, but using Lobster as the family name. And font family rule that uses Lobster, and apply this to H2. Okay, so H2 is going to be font family. I'm going to use a colon here and then a semicolon at the end. And now we've got our Lobster font. We are just speeding through all these tips. So you're kind of seeing, it's like, this is kind of just like a list of different properties. And once you kind of get familiar with them and learn all the different ones, or I mean, you can look them up, then they'll start to make sense. So like we've seen a lot of ones about color, and I'm sure we're going to get into ones about spacing very soon. So font family. So, okay. So basically like if you load in a Google font and it can't load, or it's like your computer's too slow, you want to specify a default one. So Helvetica is like a font that needs to be downloaded perhaps. And then sans serif is like a more generic version. So you would just put it as a comma after that. So now they want us to have, what do they want us to do? So they want us to have a Lobster and monospace as our second option in case it's unavailable. And now they want us to just remove this link to see what happens if Lobster is unavailable. So, okay, so it's just going to revert to the monospace. Oh, what does it want us to do? Oh, it just wants us to comment it out. So we're going to use command / for the comment. You can comment it manually if you're more comfortable with that. Sizing our images. Okay, so now we're getting into like the spacing and sizing of these kind of block elements. So there's just width. This is just kind of like, these are kind of just like introducing to all these properties. So let's speed through a bunch of these now. So a class called smaller image, and a width is 100 pixels. And we may need to be at 100% zoom to pass the challenge. So let's see if this doesn't work. Okay. Is that right? Browser zoom. I guess I've zoomed in so much. What am I doing? Oh, and maybe I need to add it to the cat. Image element. Oh, I didn't even add the class here. Class equals smaller image. Okay. We can run the tests and we're good. Let me zoom back out and kind of come over to the side again. this is kind of one of the things with CSS is it's going to look different in so many browsers, and a CSS expert is someone who's going to be able to master making it look the same in all of the browsers. So CSS borders have properties. So there's style, color, and width, and that's all for the borders. So who was saying? So Amitai was using a border this week in WordPress. So this is an easy thing you can just add to your page to make it look a little nicer. I don't know, just like play around with it, see how it goes. You never know. Okay. And so that's border color, border width, border style. So thick green border is our new class. Thick green border. And we're going to do border color green. We're going to do border width 10 pixels. And then border style. What kind of style are we going to do? Solid is our style. And we can apply multiple classes to the same element by using a space. Okay, so this is, I don't know if this is really remember, this is kind of a new thing. So we want to have multiple classes versus different kinds of styling. If we want to do smaller image and this thick green border, we can apply that both to the cat. Where are we applying this? Okay, yeah, we're doing it to the cat. So class, we do red text space thick green border. Oh no, we want to do that to the cat photo. Oh, here it is. Thick green border is around the cat. And notice how in CSS we use dot for the classes, but we don't do that in HTML because it's in this kind of class attribute. So we already know that it's a class, but here it could be an element type like paragraph, or it could be an ID. And for IDs, we use a hashtag. So we do hashtag main content or something. If we have an ID by that name, but we don't, so we'll delete this for now. Added rounded border radius with border radius work. We're gonna do border radius. The image, okay. Specify a border rate, give our cat photo a border radius of 10 pixels. So let's just throw that on here, border radius 10 pixels. Ooh, now we're getting round. So it's like using multiple CSS elements together gets you like a better image or better result. We can also use a percentage for this. So a lot of things in CSS you can use percentages or pixel notation. So this makes it a circle, which is like we thought you were working in squares and boxes only, but we can do a circle too. We do ovals, all sorts of shapes. We're gonna have a background color, just another great property. Silver background, we have to create a new class. This is all so scrunched in today. Background color, silver. And then we're gonna give this to one of our divs. This is just great to like work through all these things. Just typing it out, learning, oh, I didn't know I could do background color. Oh, I didn't know I could do border radius for all these things. It's just going through different fun exercises is a great way to learn more. Set the ID of an element. This is what I was just talking about. So we are going to do, there's cat photo form. And as I was saying, where's the form? So here's our form, and we just say ID because we only have one form on this page, so it's okay to give it an ID. And we just do form equal, and we have to have quotes around it. So can we use hex codes for colors instead of typing the names of colors? Let me tell you, you're like a coding guru. I feel like you've got like all the secret questions to make me give good answers. It's like I like set you up. So yeah, so when you're typing colors, you're never really gonna see like this plain green on your page. You're gonna see so many more fun colors. And actually this little color picker here, so I can pick a color from the page. I don't know. These are all actually really bad colors. Maybe I can pick up here. I can go to Google Fonts. right, let's go here. So here's this like blue. Can I select this blue? I don't even need to do this. So basically here, if you look on the side, there's this hashtag, and I don't know this coming up because I'll do this in here because I don't know what's going to be accessible. So okay, here even you can see in the bottom right corner, instead of blue, it's like there are so many different colors in here, and you would take this little hashtag. What is it? So hashtag 9891FE or whatever, and instead of green, you could put that here as a color. And I think in Beyond Binary, go into a little bit of like, how is a color written like this? And this is using hexadecimal. So that's certainly Beyond Binary because it's hexadecimal. So that's 16 instead of 1 or 0. So that's why we have to go all the way into A's and A, B, C, D, E, and F versus just having numbers as our digits. And like, instead of just using green, using this like gorgeous like purple or whatever, it's like our webpage just looks so much better versus like green. Ugh, I mean, I love green, but like there's a much nicer green we can find to use. Okay, so we gave the ID to the form. Okay. And now to style the ID, we use a hashtag, as I was saying. So hashtag cat photo element. Background color green. I don't think that's what it wants us to do. It wants us to do we not do this correctly? Where's the form? It's like it's not giving us a green form. Where's the green on the form? I definitely spelt it wrong. It's like my live coding dilemma. It's like cat photo element. Oh, it's cat photo form. What am I doing? Yeah, this is don't make a website that has a green background like that. That's ugly. Don't do that. Use like a nice gray, a white. Oh, this is such an ugly website, but okay. Now we're on to spacing. This is kind of super common. You want to lay out your page. You don't want everything just boxed in, touching each other really close. You want to space things out. So there's padding and there's margin. Padding is on the inside. You think your like skin is kind of your padding, and if you're closed, that's kind of your margin protecting you from the outside. So we want to change the padding of our blue box to match of our red box. Okay, blue box padding 10 and red box is padding 20. Okay, so now these are the same. I think they should have given us that as a correct answer, but okay. And now adjusting the margin of an element. So here's what we're gonna do. I want to just make sure this is all on screen still. We can do, where is it? We want to give blue box a 20 pixels of margin. And notice how it's kind of like scrunching it in and letting it be centered. So there are tons of different like pieces to that when you're more advanced, you'll kind of like understand how you can play all these together. So we can add a negative margin as well. Use margin to set a negative value for the red box. Okay, so we want to change this to also be negative 15. Oh, ooh, it's all filled up now, but goodbye to the yellow. Had different padding to each side of the element. This is super useful because just you want to lay things out in different ways. So that's why you might use different kinds of padding, and you can specify each one individually. So we want blue box to have padding 40 on the top and left and 20 on bottom and right. So I'm going to copy these down just so it's a little easier. And top is 40, right is top and left are 40 and 20 and bottom. Okay, so that was already right. Great. That was an easy one. This CSS one is a lot easier than the JavaScript one, which is like 110 examples. This is like 40 examples, and it's like half of it's already written for us. So I want to customize an element so it has different margin on each side. So okay, this is basically the same thing. I'm going to copy this. I'm not even going to check to see if it's the same. But basically this is just, now you know about all the different margin kinds of properties. Do 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 do. And we just have a little bit of a lag on my computer. It is being very much overworked, so I'll use this as a hairbrushing opportunity. Let's just check in on the Twitter, see what's happening. Oh, I got my push notification that my live stream is going on. So I hope some of you come for those push notifications. Sometimes my drag, I'm like, what a mess am I? But at least we've got the lighting to kind of make things a lot better. Oof. Kind of like this eye look I did. Is this still not going? We're learning responsive web design and our browser is barely responsive, you know? It's like, what is going on? No lipstick on the teeth. That's always a good sign of a good stream. I'm just going to close out some of my other browser windows because these are just crashing. They're just raining on my parade. I don't think you can see this on the screen. But hopefully this like will speed things up. You know? I have to quit Chrome. Normally Chrome is such a good browser. What browsers do any of you use? Are you all Google Chrome people, Firefox, Safari? I find that Google Chrome and Firefox are the best if you are like a web developer. All right, I'm quitting Chrome. We're gonna have to come back to this page. There's just, it can't handle it right now. We're force quitting it, baby. Let's just come back to the webcam for a second. Don't worry, I'm gonna just pull it back up in 1 second. Good time for a little snack break. For you, I'm having my little water break. The struggles of live streaming. I guess this wouldn't happen if I was doing those interview prep questions that were requested. So let's just restore Anna's pages, and I'm not going to restore any of my other pages. And let's see. And transition. 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 No. Why don't you work? Okay. Transition. Okay, we are back. We're good to go. Everything's moving a little bit faster now. So just sometimes when you're coding, you're just gonna have so many tabs open and so many windows open, and your computer just can't handle it. Can't handle all this glam. Can't handle all this sickening code. It's like, what is it doing? So where were we? We were doing all this margin work. Oh, we didn't even have to go back. So we have margin top, margin right, margin bottom, margin left, and we have the same for padding. And next challenge. Not only is we have 2% complete, we've done so much more. So I'm going to go to the next. I'm going to give this just a page refresh. She's lost. This web page is lost. She's in need of some help. I'm serious. TLC. Hey, some of this. This is like one of these things when you're frustrated, when you're learning to code, a lot of things are going to come up like this, and that's just part of coding. It happens, the frustration. There are, even all this week, I've been so frustrated with so many coding problems and having my computer be a little slow, and that's kind of part of the job. That's kind of part of the time you need to spend when you're an engineer. It's not all going to be working tests. It's not always going to be all working code. There's just so many different issues that can come up and cause you a pain, cause you a major headache. Like your browser loading. Well, that'd be nice if it could load. Wouldn't it be nice? Oh my god. You know, I'm gonna just put a little, let me see if I can make just a little break screen, just so once I can figure all this out, then we can resume, and I can just take a little BRB. All right, I'm back, and well, this is kind of what we're dealing with. She's gone. This is so sad. Someone screenshot this. Like, this like has me in tears. I'm like clearly so emotional about this. Maybe I brought down the site because so many people were trying to do FreeCodeCamp right now. I'm gonna grab a screenshot of this because this is not it, sis. I do this with like this. Me being upset about FreeCodeCamp not working. I think this might be where we end it tonight. I think we kind of failed this live stream a little bit. We did half the CSS curriculum. We didn't really get to jQuery, but you know, we still got to talk a little bit about code. We got to review those JavaScript. Honestly, so much of CSS is really like learning all those properties and figuring them out. Actually have a really fun CSS project that I've been working on, and I think I might do a recorded and edited video for that. So that's a great way to kind of like learn more about that. If you did come to this live stream, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you came in and chatted. Yeah. But given the state of FreeCodeCamp, we're gonna have to go for today. Yeah. But you know, there's always another day. We did an hour and 15 minutes of coding, and even if you do an hour and 15 minutes of coding a day, that's more than enough to like ramp you up, to help you learn code, learn the basics, learn the advanced. You'll be fine. So peace and good luck on